Here I have ticket number 12562, and it's a faulty Nintendo Switch that was actually left out in a storm. I believe the customer stated they left it in an airing cupboard overnight before continuing to then play it. However, it wasn't displaying on the screen, but when they put it into the docking station, it was working. I'll take you over to the microscope now to show you the damage that we have with this Switch. This is what we're looking at. Everywhere else on the actual Switch itself seems to be okay, and we don't have any corrosion. Not around M92T36, nor BQ. Oh, sorry, I take that back. We have to replace this coil because it seems to be rusting. That's fine. We actually do have another small bit of corrosion on the back of the board. This is directly behind this area. My only worry is that the corrosion has spread a bit too much, and you can see here that the impact is literally eating through the board. So what I'm actually hoping is that we can replace everything you see here and we can get it working. The ribbon cables for the Joy-Con rail and the backlight connector are destroyed completely. And if we take a look, you can actually see that inside the connectors there is corrosion. So I am going to be changing out these connectors, and hopefully with those few minor changes we should be able to get this Switch back up and running. So I'll start off by removing these things off of the board and then carefully use our donor to just transfer everything over. Start with applying just a tiddly amount of flux in the area because these connectors are coming off anyway. Just help with that flow of solder. Heating the board up from underneath. Don't really need to be honest. Could probably get away with heating the board up from the top because again these connectors are now done for. There goes one. There goes two. And we're just going to get rid of this little component here. And last but not least, this little one. There we go. And now we'll just give the area a quick clean just to see what we're working with. Already looks a little bit better than what it did before. The only thing I can really see being an issue is if these through holes here are gone. I don't know if that is the case. So we'll tin the area. Now we'll just some flux and use a soldering iron. Just go over connections. Some nice leaded solder, fresh solder. Just over here as well. Perfect. Same here. I don't think I had any flux here. Just add a little bit more. On this mounting pad here. As well as these little connections here. Okay, nice. There we go. Get all that flux off. And again, another quick clean with some isopropyl alcohol. Just to ensure all good. And we can see exactly what the area is like that we're working with. I think those traces are joined down there, from what it looks like anyway. Our area's looking hunky-dory. So again, just a drop of flux. And what I'm going to do is take a cotton swab and just smear it around the area. There we go. Just so then that way it doesn't take the components and travel with them. The components should just sit on the areas. If you have like a big ball of flux, then what tends to happen is it will move the connector about when you're trying to float it in place. So I'm going to now transfer components from the other board that I have, the donor board, over to this one, starting with the big connector down the bottom and just simply placing it on the board. To be honest with you, it's not bad placement, but I'm just going to shuffle it down a little bit. And it should just flow into place. Even if I left it like this, we should be okay, but just to make sure. That'll be fine. Heat from underneath the board again, and you should see this component just melt into place. See the solder wetting. There we go. And there it moves. Hold the heat for a little bit longer. Make sure they're all connected. And then come off. And essentially rinse and repeat. Do the exact same with the other stuff. There's a resistor. We have this little connector now as well. Lining this one up is a little bit trickier. So we just pop the hood. And just go with the alignment like so. And exactly the same practice. Heating from underneath. should just pop into place. There's still enough flux on the board to help it go into place. So you should see it any second. Here we go. And come off the heat again. And last but not least, should be able to give this a little nudge. Should go into place. That might need a little bit more flux, but we can do that because it's just the IC, so I can just put that around it. Just help it flow. There we go, perfect. All right, and then come off. And now we just need to give everything a quick clean. Just get those little bits of flux off the board. Any flux out of the connectors themselves, but I think they're both fine. Again, because we're not applying flux directly onto the connector, but more so underneath it. And that is a finished job and should be okay. Again, I don't know if these pads are meant to be connecting or not. I'm going to reassemble and test, and we'll go from there. Oh, I nearly forgot to change over the little coil. That looks a bit better. There we go. I've gone ahead and put the Nintendo Switch into a chassis that we're going to be supplying the customer. I've plugged the battery in, the backlight cable, and the LCD ribbon connector. So what we're looking for is just something, anything on the screen, because we know that the Switch works in a dock. Do we get anything on the screen? Yes, we do. We have the charging symbol up here. So is it going to turn on? It's really good because we have display. Yes. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I just now need to put the cables back to enable touch. I'll be back in a second. The Nintendo Switch is now back together and the display is all gravy. It's just turned off, but you saw it for a brief second, I believe. Yeah, all good. There we go. All right. Nice one. When I originally put it into another chassis, I put everything back together and the digitizer didn't end up working. So I tested it with a backlight and the LCD cable for the screen, and it was fine. Put it together and digitizer didn't work. So I then had to take all of it out and put it into another body that we had. I've contacted the customer. They're happy. We've managed to save their device from bad corrosion. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.